Assalamu alaikum, you're watching Just Law. In this program we discuss legal matters. You can ask your questions to our panel. You can ask questions on family, immigration, different laws, different areas of law. And today, to assist us with the questions, inshallah, I have Mohammed Iqbal, who works in a law firm in East London, and inshallah he will be assisting us with your questions. In terms of primary areas we're covering today, would be immigration, family, inshallah. So those are the two main areas. If you have questions on other areas, you can put them forward to ourselves, and inshallah we can give you maybe pointers or directions. So the language today, I understand, Mohammed Iqbal, you speak Bengali or
English, Bengali, and Urdu too.
Okay, so inshallah the guest also speaks Urdu and Bengali. So inshallah you can ask your questions in English or Bengali or Urdu, and of course you can ask your questions in Arabic if you're an Arabic speaker, inshallah. I have a few questions of my own, inshallah, so I'll start with those and then we'll open the floor for your questions. So Mohammed Iqbal, you've been doing immigration work for how many years?
For 3 years now.
For 3 years. Okay. There's been some recent changes, introduction of the immigration health surcharge.
Yes.
That's government's way of saying give us more money up front, isn't it?
This is true. This is true, brother. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a big hammer on the immigrants, especially students who are here just to achieve a higher education with a high cost, and additionally they are now have to pay a surcharge for the.
So if it's a 3-year course, it's £150 per year.
Per year.
So that's another £450 on top of the existing fee regimes.
Yes.
Same thing with the spouse visa.
Yes.
I mean, they have £956 for the spouse visa.
Correct.
Plus another £600 or £500 for the.
It could be 1,000. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you apply, or anyone applies on other categories like FLRO or FLRM, for example, you end up paying £1,000 for 5 years, 200
per year. Right. Of course, that's taken in 2 different installments. If someone has dependents, so let's say somebody was applying for their spouse and 2 children, they charge immigration health surcharge.
All
every
of their dependents
applicant
must
and the
pay.
dependent.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had somebody call in saying they've been quoted $7,000. When I first heard, I couldn't believe it.
This is true.
Because obviously, I think £5,000 roughly equates to $7,000.
Yes.
So if you have 3 or 4 dependents, plus the application fee, plus the immigration health surcharge, 500 per person, it can very quickly add up. And also, if you're working in the sort of immigration legal sector, usually the lawyer's fee would be in the range of 300 to 800.
Yes.
So the health surcharge actually is cutting into the lawyer's fees.
Yes. Sometimes we have to bite our tongue when you explain the costs of applications. The last week I had one family applying with 4 children. So you imagine
that's 2,000 just for the
couple,
children.
4 children, 6 people applying for FLRO, discretionary leave. So they end up paying around £7,000, more or less.
So 649 times 6. 500 times 6. So 1149 each.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
And our
That's
fee.
a lot
So
of money.
we
and then the lawyer's fee,
fee,
and then wow. I don't know how they managed to justify that, but they have.
Yes.
Apart from the immigration health surcharge, what else would you say is hindering applicants?
Well, now, as you may be aware of, the endless changes in the immigration law, especially, the Home Office have the power, as you know, they can change their rules anytime under the power of bylaws. So recently, I was reading, I think this morning, the upper tribunal for immigration, they are saying there will be no human rights appeals in country So that means the 2014 Act, the last year's new Immigration Act, which brought about lots of hindrances for immigrants, removing right of appeals. Now they are saying, so only one sector, only one category, human rights appeals, there will be no human rights appeals. Soon, all the appeal rights will be removed.
So they're slicing away until
yes.
nothing will be left,
Yes.
essentially. Okay, let's turn to the phone lines. Assalamu alaikum. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Walaikum salam. I'm from Birmingham. My name is Mubin.
Okay, what's your question, please?
I would like to know the nationality fees and the oath fees of applying for a British British citizen. Do they pay together?
Okay, when you say nationality fees and becoming British citizen, nationality fee...
Sorry, I'm applying for a nationality.
Mm-hmm.
Do I pay the nationality fees and the oath fees together?
What other fee are you talking about?
Sorry?
Okay, if someone is on indefinite or permanent residency...
No, common spouse visa.
Okay, if you're on a spouse visa, you need to get indefinite first.
Yes, we've got that.
You've got that. If you held indefinite for at least 1 year...
Yes, we've got it.
Then you can apply.
We need to apply for the nationality in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Now, if you've got indefinite, there is no time limit as to when you need to apply for the British citizenship.
Okay.
But of course, I would not advise you to delay it because they may come up with new rules, new issues, etc., etc.
Yeah, I want to apply it within the next 2 weeks. So
that's fine.
Know,
so if you
pay the fees together or separate, and how much?
Okay. When you say fees together or separate, is it for yourself and your partner, or who else is applying?
No, just for my partner.
Okay, so your partner is applying to become British.
Yes.
Okay, there is a fee of £1,005 currently. That is the fee you pay for the Form AN.
Sorry?
The Form AN is what you fill in.
Okay.
And you pay 1,005. That's £1,005. That is the current fee for that application.
Okay.
Okay, of course there is requirements for residency, there's requirements for English language, there's requirements of having good character, etc., etc. So all those things you will have to check.
Okay.
If you have lawyers near where you are, inshallah, you can consult them. Some they do free consultations, some may charge you a small fee. It's always advisable to go and see and make sure that you're not making any mistakes.
Okay.
Because if there are shortcomings, it's likely you would lose your fee and also lose time.
Okay. And the other thing I want you to know, you know he's got a passport that's expired. He's got the visa stamp on there.
Mm-hmm.
So we applied for a new passport. So he's got two. He's got one expired and one new one. So do we send both of them off, or do we send one of them?
No. You will send both passports. Because for the residency requirements, they would need to have the previous passports to know when he left the country, when he came back, etc., etc.
Okay.
So it's imperative that you send both passports.
Okay.
Okay. And also the residency requirements, they will probably ask for other things. So maybe utility bills, maybe if he's been working, maybe P60s. They would want evidence that he's, continually resided in the UK for last 5 years, or if it's through spouse visa, last 3 years.
Okay. And the oath fees, do we pay that with the nationality fees, or do we pay separate?
Which other fee are you talking about?
Oath.
Which one?
The oath fees. You say this oath thing.
Okay. They have the £80 is already included in the fee.
Oh, so that's already included in the nationality fee altogether.
That's right. The £80 that you pay is already included in the 1,005. In the event, inshallah, they won't refuse, but if they do, they refund you the £80.
And they refund the £80?
If they refuse, but obviously nobody applies with the intention of ever having it refused. But if that was to happen, that £80 is refunded.
All right, then thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair for your question. Brother, I'm not sure how much of that question you heard. The lady called in. She was asking about the fee for nationality. And for whatever reason, she was separating the oath fee and the application fee.
Yes, actually there is a confusion. When you read the fee leaflet, for lay person who is not practicing, or even lawyer, when I started at the beginning of my career, I was even a little bit confused. Okay, one will pay this naturalization fee, as you said very correctly, £1,005, and on top maybe there is a
Separate
fee
oath
for
fee.
oath or the
Ceremony fee.
ceremony, yes. So this is a little bit confusing from the fee leaflet, but it includes with naturalization fee, as you have correctly mentioned.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that. Viewers, you're watching Just Law. We are discussing legal matters. I have Mohammed Iqbal, who is a practicing solicitor. He's assisting us with immigration, family, civil related matters. You can call in and ask your questions today in English. If you choose, you can ask the questions in Bengali. আপনারা বাংলা ভাষায় আমাদেরকে জিজ্ঞাসা করতে পারবেন, কোনো অসুবিধা নাই. Also, if you want, you can ask your questions in Arabic. I think we had one Arabic speaker so far when we've been running this show. So inshallah, if you are an Arab speaker and you want to call in, ممكن تسألوا أسئلة باللغة العربية. So inshallah, you can do that in Arabic. Iqbal, I have a question in relation to family matters. Now, as you know, there's no legal aid unless someone has suffered domestic violence in the last 2 years, etc.
Correct.
Now, what is the position when the client cannot afford to pay the lawyer's fee? Do they simply attend by themselves, or what happens?
Well, this is actually, the reality now is what I see from my practice is many people would go on their own because the lawyer's fees, at least there is a standard fee. So when they can't afford that fee, they would be
without representation.
Without
They'll have to do it
representation,
themselves.
Themselves, yes.
And when they do it themselves, the judges, it's not their job to teach them what to do.
No, not at all, not at all.
So if an application has not been made, the judge will simply say, well, I don't have the papers in front of me.
Yes.
The application has not been made.
And that creates a backlog, that creates a slowness in the judicial process. So normally I've seen people going to CAB, Citizens Advice Bureau. Sometimes people come to us, get initial consultation free of charge, some advice I cannot afford, please tell me what can I do next, what to include in this form. The forms are in a legal language, so they need some advice and help.
Also, it's mandatory, isn't it, in family to have mediation first?
Yes, sure.
But some cases are not suitable for mediation. So if, for example, the mother is going to take the children to Bangladesh or Pakistan, trying to mediate while she's packing her bags to go to the airport, it won't be appropriate.
No.
So they will have to seek an urgent hearing.
Yes.
Possibly expert team. Okay, without the other party attending. Okay, let's turn to the phone line. Assalamu alaikum. What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Walaikum salam. Can I talk to Urdu, please?
You want to speak in Urdu?
Yes.
That's fine. I have a small request for control room. Mic on and Urdu translation, please. Okay, go on. Your question?
मेरा सवाल ये है कि मैं यूके में ना स्पोर्ट्स वीजा पे आई थी 2006 में.
Okay, sister, if you can call us back, inshallah. I think your call was dropped. So the sister called in. She came to the UK on a spouse visa in 2006. So inshallah, we'll wait for her to call back, and we'll take that question. So while we're waiting for that, there are various stages, isn't there, in the family proceedings?
Yeah.
But some barristers and some law firms can assist on pro bono. What is that?
Well, pro bono is a process whereby the clients, or our clients, they don't pay. We work on free basis.
Right.
So just for good to the client.
Right.
Yeah. So
this is when your fees are waived. The client says, I have no money, I can't pay.
Yeah.
And you say, it's okay, we'll do the work.
Yeah. And
nevertheless,
they will be paying only the court fees.
Right.
Court fees.
Okay. So they pay the costs. So, for example,
yeah.
application fee for the court, etc.
Yeah.
But that can also be waived, isn't it? If they go for the EX 160.
Fee remission. That is
so they can apply for fee remission.
There is a form, selected form. We can fill the form. We can help You have to include the bank statement from previous.
So evidence of getting
evidence that you
job
are
seekers
not
allowance or
up to
those
the
kind
level of, paying court fees. Court fees are around 400 and something.
depending on what they're applying
yeah,
for, of
yes,
course.
yes.
215 if they're applying for a Children Act matter.
Yes.
And I think the limit is £3,000.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Well, viewers, we are discussing immigration and family matters. Of course, today I have Mohammed Iqbal, who's going to help us with family and immigration matters. Immigration usually is very popular. We've already had 2 questions on that. The first question, of course, was on spouse visa going on to indefinite, then going on to becoming British. And the sister asked as to what the fee was. The fee for settlement, obviously we know, is what you apply for when you want to get indefinite. After that, you apply to become naturalized. So for adults, it's naturalization. For children, it's registration. 2 different words means similar thing, which is becoming British. Currently, the fee regime is £1,005 for adults who want to become British. In that, £80 is included, which is for the oath fee or the ceremony. So when someone applies to become British, if they're accepted, the certificate is not sent out by post. What they do is they send it to your nearest center, and you go there and there is a ceremony, and usually there's a picture of the Queen, and you swear allegiance to the Queen, and at that ceremony they give you a certificate which confirms that you are now a British national. Then applying for a British passport it's a routine. You get a 4-page application form, you provide all your details. If you lose your passport, you can apply again. It's not a problem because you are now regarded as a British national. Iqbal, on the British nationality, can you think of circumstances where somebody's nationality may be revoked, may be taken back? Because I know recently, since last December, in fact, they've introduced this requirement of 10-year clean record.
Yes.
So you've not breached any immigration rules, you've not have any civil issues, you've not got any criminal issues. And they're very rigorous, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So, is there circumstances where they can take away the British nationality?
Yes, I'm afraid yes. If anyone is involved in any terrorism kind of activities, criminal activities, or any previous record within the last 10 years, so there is a danger or bad news for.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is if someone who has indefinite, they've applied to become British.
Yeah.
They may not be given, they may not be granted given nationality because there is a what we call good character issues.
Yeah.
Okay. And this could be quite minor, isn't it?
Because if I may, one thing, last 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think I read the new changes for even for children. I mean, under 18. If you are in between 12 to 18, and you had an issue when you were 12, bad character issue. So there can be a big problem achieving British
nationality. So are we
nationality.
talking about some sort of police caution or some sort of criminal involvement?
A little bit more than caution.
I see, I see, I see. What happens if that happens? I mean, do they just simply get delayed? I mean, do they have to wait another 3 years, 5 years, and then apply?
Actually,
because prior to 2012, if something is spent, if something is no longer regarded as being active, usually 5 years or 7 years, depending on what it was, then you didn't have to mention it. And then they've changed it. You had to mention regardless.
Regardless, yes.
And then now they've extended it to 10 years, both civil, criminal, immigration.
You're right.
But they have a sort of like a table where they say if it's more than this number of years, we will disregard it. But nevertheless, they still want to know.
Yes.
And make a decision.
Right.
And the way the immigration laws are going, it's quite likely in the future they will just say, right, we're not going to give you British nationality. Because the interesting is, becoming British is not a right, it's a privilege.
It's a privilege, yeah.
And as you will remember, there was a famous rich person who owned a particular shop in centre of London. he was denied British nationality, and he relocated now to France because the British won't
I
give
didn't
him
know that.
British won't give him nationality. So it's a privilege.
Privilege, yeah. You're right.
He had money, so he went to court and he fought the case, and they said, look, it's not a right, it's a privilege.
So he didn't win.
Oh no, of course not.
Okay.
They didn't let him win. Interesting thing though, with children, the Home Office has discretion. So even if
Correct.
a child doesn't qualify, they still can give nationality to children. So you may have a case where a child has come to the UK, they were not in any application, they've overstayed, etc. If both parents are British and the child has been here for some time, and it's unlikely the child will actually travel abroad or has another nationality,
Or maybe
the
no
Secretary of
more
State-
family members outside.
then the
this
Secretary of
country.
State has the discretion.
Yes.
So, I mean, you can understand creating difficulty for a child when both of the child's parents are British is not in the child's interest, is not in the family's interest. And so they have discretion, and for children it is different. So any viewers who are watching this show, if you have a child who is in a bit of a limbo, they were either born here or they came from abroad, both parents are British, and the child doesn't have a status, the child could have status, and even you could apply for British for the child, to register the child as a British and see if the Home Office will exercise discretion. Of course, they charge a fee, and that could be quite prohibitive, but every case should be judged on its own merits. And inshallah, if the chances are good, you should apply and see. Mohammed Iqbal, in terms of I had one question earlier today sent through via email. Someone came here to the UK on a spouse visa,
Yeah.
and then they switched to European family member because the spouse visa, there was a separation.
Okay.
And then the European family member was an extended family member.
Right.
And so that was refused. Generally speaking, the 5-year route doesn't apply because European mix it with domestic.
Yes.
It usually gets complicated.
So when one switch into a different category, like EEA, extended family member category, so there is two fundamental conditions to be fulfilled. One is the relationship, and the second one is dependency.
Okay, we'll talk more about that inshallah after the short break. Viewers, we are going to go to a break. We are talking about immigration and family matters. I do want you to have the courage to pick up the phone and call us and put your questions. You don't have to mention your name. You don't have to mention where you're calling from. You don't even have to say it's about yourself. You could say it's about somebody else, or you can say there's a situation and give us the facts. And inshallah, myself and Mohammed Iqbal will try to give you pointers, directions, or our opinion on that. It doesn't have to be family. It doesn't have to be immigration. It could be criminal. It could be civil. It could be employment. It could be any area of law, inshallah. We both have experience in dealing different areas. So inshallah, we should be able to give you pointers, directions. Please do remember whatever we say in this show is for pointers and directions. So inshallah, I will see you after the break. Stay tuned on IQRA, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.